my child took our daughter, and I don't know where he's at with her. She's my daughter. He has no legal rights over her.
A daughter is usually the most precious thing a man has in his life. Well, not for all of them. Today, we are looking at the case of Shawn Phillips, the man who deprived his own daughter of her life. On June 20th, 2011, a 4-month-old Catherine Phillips went missing after her parents had a spat. The father allegedly drove away in a fit of rage, with Catherine still in the car. The police found and arrested her father, Shawn Phillips, but couldn't find Catherine. It was only after a thorough investigation and several interviews with Shawn that the truth was exposed.
Hey Shawn, sorry about the wait, buddy. My name is Detective Sergeant Posma, and I'm with the Mesa County Sheriff's Office, okay? How you doing? You good with your water?
Yes, I'm fine.
Need anything? You smoke?
No thanks.
You don't smoke?
I don't.
Okay. Chew?
Yes.
You do chew? You want to chew?
Mm.
I got a little bit left.
Sure.
You want one? Go ahead, finish my can up, buddy. Spat right in that freaking. We'll share the spatter. How's that? Huh?
Thank you.
Alright. How you feeling? Good? You alright?
I don't really know how to
Nervous?
describe it, I suppose.
Nervous?
I really don't know.
Okay, alright. I just need to get some general information from you, Shawn. Get started here. Your first name is Shawn, and how do you spell that?
S-E-A-N.
Okay, S-E-A-N, and your middle name?
Michael.
Michael? M-I-C-H-A-L?
A-E-L.
Okay. And your last name?
Phillips.
Phillips.
2 L's.
Okay. And how old are you? Okay. And what is your date of birth?
Kate was Shawn's second child, whom he had at a young age with his wife, Ariel Cortland. Because of his age, his parents were not accepting of his children, which caused the couple to constantly fight. Shawn even took baby Kate to DHS to give her up for adoption, but the courtroom denied his requests.
So you say you're laid off right now. Did you have employment at one time?
Yes, I've had many jobs, but
Okay, what was your last employment other than the National Guard?
my last job was through Manpower.
Okay.
But I worked for about, it was 3 factories here in Livingston.
Okay. 3 different factories?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, how do you feel about deploying? Good with it?
Excited, but
Excited but nervous?
don't really want to be away
Yeah.
from my kid.
Right. Now you have you say you have a kid. What's your child's name? And how old is he? And with you?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other children?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Is there some question that you might be a father to another child?
The one in question here, yes.
Yeah, and what's her name?
Catherine.
Catherine?
Yes.
Is it spelled Kathrine?
That's, yes.
That's how you're spelling it?
I believe that's how it was spelled.
Okay. And does she carry your last name?
She gave her my last name, yes.
So she's Phillips.
Yes.
Okay.
After returning from the DHS, Shawn was furious, so he decided not to stay, even after Ariel's insistence. But what he apparently forgot was that Kate was still in the car seat. After driving around town, Shawn became increasingly frustrated and, for some reason, decided to vent that frustration on the car seat. So he tossed it out of the car.
Why don't you explain to me how I mean, it sounds, just in talking with you just shortly, you're not sure if this is your kid, right? And
It was,
can you just explain that to me a little bit? What's the situation there?
we dated briefly years ago.
Okay.
And she intentionally got pregnant.
Okay. And that's
Yes.
okay.
Well, it was very brief, relationship with us.
Okay.
And, what's it going with that? Well, it's been hell for all these years. She's lived with me since she was 1 and was aware of the state removed from her mother for a long time. And
Okay.
just her mother's, it's always seemed like one of those people you see on Maury or Dr. Phil's show where, 15-year-old.
Now you're talking about Ariel's mom?
Ariel.
Or just Ariel herself?
So she's always lived with me, but she's never really seemed concerned with being a part of it. Just harassing me and trying to emotionally, mentally abused me.
Okay. How's your relationship with? Good?
Oh, that's very good.
Okay. You enjoy being with her and things?
Yes, when I'm laid off, I'm always with her generally.
Okay. Good.
But just,
So would you say you're pretty close to you?
yes.
Okay. All right. Now, does Ariel live with you now?
We have never lived together.
Okay. Because, I mean, kind of when you were talking, it sounded like maybe Ariel was maybe living with you at one point, or no? Okay. Where does Ariel live?
She somewhat recently,
Okay.
it's,
Where's that?
really recall the name of it.
Okay.
As Shawn was tossing the car seat out, it got stuck, so he had to yank it out. This excessive force launched the 4-month-old into the air and caused severe injuries as she landed. Phillips believed she could not be saved, so he abandoned the lifeless girl and ran.
And so, been living with you and your mom and dad in,
The custody arrangement just recently changed.
okay.
It's still an ongoing legal battle, really.
Okay. All right. Can you explain that to me a little bit? What's going on? Where's the status of that?
I don't know. It ended because the front of the court was hassling me. We've always been going through the front of the court for all the years, like,
Okay.
in there almost every month.
Okay.
And she got a job, supposedly, got this,
Okay.
and just took me to court, and this Jack Bolger just handed her joint physical custody,
Okay.
but it wasn't an evidential hearing, so I couldn't actually stack of paperwork and history of her interactions and everything. I couldn't use that.
Okay. And currently, the custody is with you,
It's joint physical custody now.
joint physical between
That-
you and Ariel?
Yes, that changed about, I want to say 4 months ago, 3
4
months
months
ago,
ago.
but just like before, she doesn't really exercise her parenting time.
Okay.
Well, she will on occasion, but sometimes she'll go months without.
How is the arrangement? Is it more with you and then she gets a weekend, or how does that arrangement work?
On the court order, it is 1 week with each of us,
Okay.
and then the Wednesday night
Is
of
it-
every week, you're supposed to have her overnight,
Okay.
the other party.
All right. So
But
it's,
we are mostly going off a verbal agreement of 3 days there, 3 days here.
okay.
As he mentioned, Shawn never lived with her wife. He was a military man and spent a lot of time away, which only added to the problems they had. The hate was so great that throughout this interrogation, he could stop hating on his wife.
And she will not give her back when it's time to give her back,
Okay.
just to
All right.
cause problems, or
Cause
sometimes she
problems.
won't get her at all when it is her time.
Okay. So the court order, just so I know I got this right, the court order says every other week, and then the week that the parent does not have the child scheduled, you get her on that Wednesday night for an overnight.
Yes.
Okay. But you guys have kind of been doing a verbal where it's 3 nights, 3 nights, 3 nights, 3 nights. Like,
Yes.
so-
We've
Depict
I've fallen back on the court order sometimes just because she likes to play her games, and
Mhm.
the verbal agreement just gets messy, so if you just stick to the court order, it's
Okay.
a little easier, but.
All right. Want to talk a little bit about Catherine. What's the situation right now with you and Ariel and Catherine? What's that all about? Let me start this way. What is she claiming in regards to Catherine?
Legally, she's claiming it's mine.
Okay.
It's been quite a strange thing, like,
Okay.
throughout her whole pregnancy, she really tried to kind of hide it,
Okay.
and even up to this day, she will outright tell people that I don't usually see, or people I don't know,
Mhm.
that we are married and living together, and we have another kid in common,
Okay.
or one expected at that
Okay.
time.
Okay.
But then other people, she'll tell them the truth.
Mhm. Okay.
And from talking to her mother and her friends and family, and actually seeing like stuff on Facebook that she's put in text messages and stuff, I guess there's 5 possible fathers, not counting me,
Okay.
and then a 6.
Ariel pleaded with Shawn multiple times to agree to a paternity test in order to confirm that Kate was, indeed, his biological child. However, Shawn, who seemed to be detached from his emotions, refused to take the test. It was clear that he preferred to distance himself from any emotional responsibility by denying that Kate was his daughter.
One that's just kind of a rumor,
Okay.
just ones that she had sex with during that time frame.
Okay.
But then, we weren't together at that time. I was out at a party. Where would that be? Out past Ludington Ways.
Okay.
It was for the Jeff Schwartz, the guy that runs the disc golf organization around here.
Okay.
He has a party once a year for the golfers, and
Okay.
I guess I was hammered. She showed up because she found out from other people that I was there, and came on to me, and we supposedly had intercourse in my vehicle.
Okay.
But I'm not the type to not remember stuff when I'm drinking,
Okay.
and I have no memory of this, so.
Don't remember.
I was actually home on the week that she was born.
Okay. Do you know when Catherine was born? The date?
2/12 sounds right.
2/12 of what? Of 11?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure on the exact date, but it was that month.
It was close. Okay.
She didn't really ever bring it up to me. It's just what I've seen on the paperwork
Okay.
recently.
And so, since Catherine's birth, what has happened? Has there been any kind of legal things that are going on or anything like that? As far as whether or not you are the father or not
Oh,
the
yes.
father?
Well, she'd always try to hide her when I'm over there, and she never really spoke about her with me, but
As you can see, he was so emotionally detached from the situation and her own child that he didn't even remember the exact date of her birth. It was clear that he was not mature and responsible enough to be a father.
So she filed some paperwork.
she
with
says
the
it wasn't
prosecutor.
her that did it, but I don't believe that.
Okay. And that was for some type of, what, paternity test type
It
thing,
was
or?
come in, sign the paperwork, decline that you think it is, and
Okay.
opt for the paternity test.
Opt for the paternity. And did
Which-
you do that then?
I had to do that today at 12.
Okay.
Actually did it a little bit earlier than 12.
Okay, so you did have your paternity test today?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you have to go for that?
That was the laboratory in the hospital here in Ludington.
Did they give you any results of that or anything?
It was a mouth swab on both sides, and then
They'll get back with you or
a lot
what?
of paperwork. I'm guessing I'll just get something in the mail.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know if they actually do it there, because the paperwork kind of said it was sent.
So as far as you know, Catherine's not your child?
It's
Or
not,
at least you believe that
it's not impossible, but I find it hard to believe. It'd be quite a surprise to me.
Okay. But definitely your child. You
She
believe
damn well
it?
better be. I have
Did
really-
you ever go through any kind of paternity test with it?
No, I signed the paperwork. I was
That
there
you were-
when she was born, and
Okay. All right.
we weren't ever dating during her pregnancy, but
Okay.
I don't have any doubt that she's not mine.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, what I'm gonna do, Shawn, is I'd like to kind of just take you through your day today. And if you could just kind of start out, this morning and, just kind of tell me from the time that you got up, kind of what the events were of your day, if you could do that for me.
I don't know about you, but for me, it's hard to believe that a person like him would take on the custody of a child that was not his own. And yet, he did it. It does raise questions about what he really believed regarding Catherine being her daughter.
I had a party for the military this week. I came back. I was supposed to get her. Well, she called me wanting me to come pick up,
Okay,
and came all the way over there, and she did not give her to me.
okay,
Then the following day was my day to get her back, and she would not give her to me.
okay,
And so we've just been fighting all week. All kinds of threats of going back to court, and
okay,
her threatening to run away with her, and
okay,
fighting over the 4th of July, because last year I was supposed to have 4th of July because I was actually scheduled to deploy. They've just changed the date 3 times and set it back.
okay.
Just because she knew that we had family there,
Uh-huh,
so she jumps on any opportunity to make a scene.
right,
So then she was giving her a hug, but then when she had her in her arms, the officer couldn't physically remove her, so she just jumped in the car and left. She was supposedly just giving her a hug goodbye. And
That was
now-
last 4th of July?
Yes, last 4th of July. And then next 4th of July, I'm not gonna be around, so
So you
by
want
all
her,
means,
you want her this 4th of July?
yes, by all means, it is my year to have her.
Okay, all right.
But she's quite angry about that. I'm trying to get her.
So
back.
that's stuff that's been going on previously, before today? Stuff that's been
It's
going
up to
on this
day.
week? Okay,
And then last night, we got into a fight. That's when I actually got her back finally.
His words about wanting to be with Kate this year didn't quite match his actions. He seemed talented in many ways, but his acting skills were definitely not one of them.
I got to get through that a little bit earlier than the scheduled time, so then I headed over to her apartment to do the supposed paperwork or whatever it was, but
Okay,
within a minute of walking in the door, it was just fighting and arguing.
okay.
And she had this morning said that she was gonna, somehow she knew that I was supposed to be gone today for this. And she said she would have the cops out at my house to get, even though it's not, by our agreement, it's not her time to have her.
Okay.
And also by the actual court order, because I have it marked on the calendar, the court order dates.
Okay, all right.
So, told my mom she's probably gonna be coming out here just to cause a problem, just because she knows we have guests at the house right now.
Okay.
So,
What happens once you're there and what happens after that?
we argued and fought, I want to say for an hour or more.
Okay.
Got a bit more escalated than usual.
Okay.
And not physical, of course, but just
Right. Just
quite a few threats. It's not uncommon for her to threaten to run away with Haley next time she has her or something. But
Right.
just, I've already informed her that I'm going back to court over this.
Okay,
This was probably earlier this week.
okay.
So it's just more court threats. We argued and argued. Then she's saying that she has to go somewhere.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, what about this paperwork? And she didn't, then all of a sudden it wasn't paperwork. It was having to go somewhere and fill out something.
Right.
Shawn went from bending the truth to fit his narrative to outright lying. Instead of taking them to the hospital as he claimed, he actually took them to the DHS to put Kate up for adoption.
So then I go to leave. We're kind of arguing all the way out. And I get in my car and I start to back up, and she opens the door and starts putting Catherine in the car. And I was like, well, what are you doing? And she's like, well, what do you mean, what am I doing? And then she just expected me to take her to the DHS. Because I guess she had an appointment, according to her, to give her up for adoption.
Okay.
Which she's been saying like for probably 7 months now, 8 months, that she's going through adoption or working on it, but,
Okay.
and I guess there's been over close to 80 attempts probably of just like meeting with people or something, but somehow she's always expecting a phone call for them to actually meet for the exchange part.
Okay.
I drive her over to the DHS. She tries to stop me, told me to stop like by the hospital. And I'm like, well, why the hospital? And so then I keep driving to the DHS. And we're still arguing. Just pause briefly from the argument for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we get there. She isn't getting out. She's just sitting there and arguing. I was like, I'd like to get home. So then she wants me to drive her somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her I'm not your damn taxi service.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm especially not gonna be driving you around.
Mm-hmm.
So then she gets out and she gets her daughter out, Catherine. And she starts walking, gets probably about 20 steps away. And I'm about to pull out and then she comes back. Well, actually while she was getting out, she said, you can just keep I'm not carrying this shit, referring to the car seat and her diaper bag. And that I would just have to come and bring it in later. And I told her I'm not coming back to town later just for you. Like,
So then what happens?
so then we argue some more. She ends up getting back in the car.
Uh-huh.
We sit there and argue some more. And then I ultimately drive her to the hospital like she wanted. Then she doesn't get out.
Okay.
Shawn did a great job of portraying the whole situation as if it was all Ariel's fault. This is how these narcissists function. They're masters at manipulating situations to make themselves appear clean.
Where's Catherine at this point?
Well, she gets out, but then she just walks off, and she doesn't go to her apartment door. She goes to some like side door or something, I think.
Okay.
And she comes back, and we argue. Then I left,
Okay.
and then from there, I was gonna go home, like take a left and go, well, take a left on Tinkham going towards Scottville
Uh-huh.
and go on the back way, but then I remembered I was hungry before that and I had stuff in town I wanted to do, but I was kind of just too pissed to really want to do anything, so I figured I'd just put it off till tomorrow or something.
Okay.
Then I ended up going to Wendy's and getting some food there,
Okay.
and drove home.
Okay.
When I got home, my mom and my daughter were in the doorway, and she said that the police had been there, and that this whole thing, and she gave me the card to call the officer. Can't recall his name, but
Okay.
so then about 20 minutes after I got home probably was when I called.
All right. And the officers came out?
They said they'll be there in 10 minutes. It was more like about half hour maybe.
Okay. All right. So when you get back, you said that after you take her to DHS, you go, because you didn't want to be her taxi, you take her back to her apartment.
Later in his confession, Shawn admitted that after eating at Wendy's, he actually threw the car seat out in a fit of rage without realizing that his daughter was still inside. He also mentioned that the fall caused severe injuries and that he didn't try to get her any help. He kept her with him for a while before abandoning her lifeless body.
Shawn, it's real important that you know that you're real honest with me, okay? I know quite a bit of information, okay? And if you start to lie to me or something like that or not, or whatever, okay, it's important for us to stand as even kill here. My number one concern right now is for Catherine, okay? You know, and so that's what my questioning is going to be about, is about Catherine, okay? Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. If you have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and have him with you during questions. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel, because you had mentioned to me, how do you feel, you said that Ariel had been talking about wanting to put Catherine up for adoption and stuff like that. And if in fact, okay, this paternity test comes back and let's say Catherine is yours, okay, how would you feel about the adoption? Do you feel like that's a viable option?
He always knew adoption was an option, and the detective was keenly aware of it. Now, the detective planned to see if Shawn would resort to murder if adoption wasn't on the table.
It's been hell. Well, basically raised this kid by myself. She's in the pictures. Not even really a functional thing, so I wouldn't.
Right.
Plus, I haven't even really been in his life so far, so.
Right.
I don't really think that she's capable of parenting, so.
Okay.
Or even
So would it be a
coming
fair
close, so-
statement, would it be a fair statement then that if this was Catherine's, this would definitely be a financial burden for you and a time commitment burden?
Yes.
I mean, having another child. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason why I ask you that is I'm just trying to get a feeling for, you know, where you're at here, because I know that you're going through a difficult time right now. Whether or not she's your child or not, you know, you already have. I mean, it's a lot to process and a lot to deal with.
I'm really not the type to worry about stuff, so if
Okay.
it happens to be, then.
But I'm very, very concerned about Catherine. Okay. And do you know where Catherine is at?
Usually, Ariel's been known to play quite strange games like this, or, well, not like this. This is by far the farthest anything's ever gone.
Mhm.
It's usually just been like hiding from me, like with someone she knows, or not giving her back, or...
I understand all that, Shawn. I understand, you know, with these types of relationships, little games get played. You know, games like taking somebody's cell phone or,
others.
you know, those kinds of
I don't
things.
think she can compare to
I
anyone else.
totally understand that. But we got a lot different situation here right now. We're talking about a human being.
Yes.
We're talking about a 5-month-old girl that cannot care for herself. Okay? She cannot care for herself. She needs somebody to care for her. Okay? And that takes it to a whole nother level. Okay? A whole nother level. I'm not talking about the little shenanigans of taking your phone, doing that kind of stuff.
It's truly horrifying to consider that this man was brazenly lying about ending his own child. Just think about the level of heartlessness it takes to do such a thing to a toddler, and then shift the blame onto her mother.
What I was getting at is, I'm guessing she just has her with a friend or someone she knows.
Okay?
I only know of 2 of the people she uses for babysitters, but,
Okay.
well, 3.
All right.
But
So what you're telling me right now is that you have no idea where Catherine is.
I know she knows, but I have no
I'm not
way.
asking you that.
I have no way of
I'm not
knowing
asking you
myself.
that, okay, Shawn? I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you a specific question. Do you know where Catherine is right now?
No, I do not.
Okay. And where was Catherine at when you last saw her?
In the car seat behind me,
Car seat behind you. You didn't see where she went from there?
into her apartment.
And who took her into the apartment?
Ariel did.
And did she say anything to you about that, Ariel? She left and she parted ways. What was her last comment?
I think we were still arguing. She wanted me to stay there for a minute and so we could argue some more, work things out supposedly.
He remembered all the details of the fighting, but had amnesia about the daughter being in the car.
Was there a conversation that you had with Ariel about her not taking the paternity test?
No,
There was no conversation like that?
I had already taken it.
No, for her to take the paternity test.
What do you mean?
Did you tell Ariel that you didn't want her to take the paternity test?
Not today.
Not today.
It had came up, I'm not sure exactly how it came up or the exact way it was worded, but previously, it was probably the day or probably the day after we each got the actual thing in the mail. I just today found out that she got one too.
Okay.
Well, no, I found out when she called because she's pissed about how I did that for some reason.
Okay. All right.
And
So that conversation didn't come up today?
no,
Okay. Did you have a conversation about, or with Ariel, about taking Catherine to DHS, okay, and making arrangements for DHS to put her up for adoption?
yes,
Okay. That conversation happened today?
yes.
Okay.
That's why I had driven into DHS.
Okay. So you knew the purpose for which you went to DHS?
She never got out or anything, but I knew that's what the purpose was, as she had stated, for
Okay.
going over there.
But you asked her specifically, right, to, for you and her to take the baby to DHS, and let's see if we can.
No,
put her for adoption.
she said when I got there that she already had it set up to be done today.
This psychopath had no shame in lying with a straight face to a detective. The least he could have done was to be honest about it and own what he did, but apparently he was a coward like the rest of them.
And you were pissed, and you were angry, and you were mad, okay? And when you left that apartment, You left with Catherine. Okay? You left with Catherine. Because you know what? Piss on you. Piss on you, Ariel. Okay? I'm out of here. And you had Catherine with you. The question now is, though, is are we going to do the right thing? And the right thing is for Catherine. Let's forget everybody else. Let's forget Ariel. Let's forget you. Let's forget everybody else. Okay? Catherine is the innocent one here today. She can't speak for herself. She can't talk for herself. She can't defend herself. She can do nothing. Okay? And you took her somewhere. Whether or not Catherine's alive, whether or not Catherine's dead, or whether or not you know whether or not Catherine is dead or alive right now. Because she's obviously not here, and she's not with us. But she's somewhere. And you know where she's at. I need to know where she's at. Okay? So I can go take care of Catherine. Because Catherine needs to be taken care of.
The walls had started to close on Shawn, and he could feel that he was under the detective's thumb, but he didn't budge one bit. Instead, he did something only a coward would do.
You know where Catherine is at. Okay? I believe that 100%. 100%, Shawn. I believe you know where Catherine is. Okay? You know where she is. Okay? You know where she is, Shawn. Okay? You know where she is. You drove out of that parking lot with her in the back of your car. Okay? Question now is, where is Catherine? Okay? You need to tell me the truth. Because it's only going to get worse for you. Okay? I'm telling you right now. Do you think that this community is going to put up with us? It's not. And this is not going away, Shawn. This is not going away. If you go down this road, I'm going to tell you right now, I've worked in this system for 20 years, Shawn. It ain't going to be good for you. You drove out of that parking lot with Catherine in the back of your car. And you know where Catherine is. Okay? All the evidence points that you had Catherine in that car. Her clothing is in the pocket of your car, of your pants that she had on today. Okay? Where is Catherine? Where is Catherine at, Shawn?
I believe I want an attorney at this point.
Okay. Stay right there.
Phillips was sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison on the unlawful imprisonment charge. Phillips was also sentenced to 19 to 45 years in prison on the second-degree murder charge. Baby Kate's body has never been found. Shawn Phillips's earliest release date from prison is October 2nd, 2032. Do you think Shawn did what he did accidentally, or was it something planned? Let us know in the comments below. And if you liked the video, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one we have in store for you. Thanks for watching. This is Detective Mystery, signing off.